Okay, what are you saying, people, and welcome back to another live stream. Now, before we get into this, make sure you check out my Telegram. Left a link to that in the live chat, and also make sure you go check out the broker that I recommend. Again, I use that broker as well, so I have affiliate links there, so feel free to go check that out as well. But as you know, guys, another live stream for you. Going to talk you through what's going on in the charts today and see if we've got any opportunities coming our way. So first, start like usual. We'll start with Euro USD, excuse me. And also, guys, if there's any pairs you're looking at, feel free to leave it down in the chat and take a look at it. But Euro USD, we're looking very, very bearish this morning. As you can see, excuse me, a very big bearish candle there to the downside, actually breaking through those prior lows there. Let me make that a bit more clearer. Actually breaking through those prior lows there in the market, and as you can see, we're still pushing on as well. So potentially we could actually be seeing price really push on, because looking at the DXY again this morning, you can see price is really pushing to the upside, and the DXY still hasn't taken out those highs yet. So the DXY probably will go and take out those highs at 94,500, maybe push up to 95, I don't know, but it probably will go and take out those highs, because it does look like price is now putting a higher low there in the market. So DXY looks like it's probably going to take those highs out and push on, which means we're going to see more DXY strength, more USD strength, which in turn means that Euro USD will probably head to the downside a lot further. Pound USD will probably follow to the downside as well. So yeah, I'm expecting both of these pairs to continue. I think to look to trade Pound USD looks a lot better, simply because it's higher up, whereas Euro USD we're ready to taking out those lows and really pushing on. So if anything, the only opportunity, if I was looking to trade this, would probably be the break and retest of that area, and then looking for those continuations. But yeah, I think Pound USD looks better because it still hasn't taken up those lows yet, so it still has a little bit more downside to it. We could still be looking at this kind of area there, really nice area of demand. If you do have a bit of a pullback, that will be a nice area to look into. So Pound USD has definitely gone on the watch list this morning for some trades to the downside. Again, I already know it's already taken off to the downside, so I need it to retrace for me first. Again, that might not happen till tomorrow as well, so I'm not expecting too much to happen now from Pound. Again, looking at the DXY tells me that probably, I don't think we'll probably will retrace until maybe towards the end of the day. We might just kick off again, have another push to the downside, which means I need a little bit more retracement. So yeah, I'm looking at Pound USD. It's on the watch list. I'm not expecting anything today, but I'm looking for retracement, hopefully back into this area here in the market. Price support there, looking for that area to become resistance. So just looking for a simple break and retest, and then yeah, we'll look to enter some shorts and ride it back down into this kind of area, 1.34500, so that area of support. So I'm looking for those sales for Pound USD. Hopefully we can get them tomorrow. I mean, great if we can get them today, but I don't think we will. But yeah, Pound USD looks like it's ready to continue to the downside here. Again, wasn't too sure about it yesterday, because we were looking for those sales yesterday, kind of against this area of support. And again, I said to you guys, do wait for that bearish close, because price might actually break to the upside, start heading to these areas up here, up there as well. But as you can see, we closed above, kind of traded a little bit above it, and then this morning we saw that bearish candle close back at 2 a.m. So again, I was fast asleep at that point, but we did close back below, and as you can see, momentum just carried us to the downside. So overall, Pound USD is looking like it's bearish. Looks like it's just had a bit of a false break off that level, captured some liquidity and really nice momentum there in the 4H. So all I'm doing is just waiting for that pullback and ride it down to those areas. I would be looking at Euro USD, but like I said, that pair has already taken out those lows, so I'm not interested in that pair anymore. Firmly fixed on Pound. Gold as well, we've seen some nice downside there as well. Again, we were looking at gold yesterday, talking about this trend line here. Let me just make that clearer. Talking about this trend line here, because price was actually breaking past the trend line, so I wasn't too sure if we can get a break and retest on this, or price was just having a bit of a false breakout, getting ready for that move to the downside. And as you can see, we poked ahead above this trend line a few times here, so 1, 2, 3 kind of there as well, but now we're firmly back below it. So if we can use that trend line as a resistance or some support and resistance down the lower time frames, I can see gold dropping all the way back down into this zone here, 1725, and actually we'll be looking for some shorts there as well. Gold is on the watch list as well. So as you can see, prices really tried to push up again. I think that was yesterday around 4 o'clock, so kind of late New York session. Tried to push up, failed to retest the trend line. Now it's back below, so if we can go and put another lower high somewhere out of that trend line would be great, or maybe slightly above. Bit of a bearish trend line going on there as well. Let me just use the trend line tool because that is an awful line with those highs there as well. So if you can put another lower high in, great. That would be a nice place to go short, and targets will probably be the 1724 area. Probably look at this area here as well, because we might bounce from that to the upside, so take partials around there. But I think if gold does follow, you know, DXY looks like it's about to take out some new highs and see some lot of bullish momentum for the dollar. So I do expect to see gold, you know, on the other hand, start to come down. So waiting for that lower high on gold. We had it there. That was an Asian session. Again, I don't really trade that session, so no trade there for me. But if you can pull up, form another lower high, maybe New York session, you know, could be some nice sells there for gold back down to 1724. So we'll be looking at gold today. Nice shorts there. Usdchf, I was looking for shorts for this one yesterday. Didn't get involved into any shorts because price didn't pull back enough for me. Now it's looking very, very bullish. So I'm still looking at this area for potential shorts for Usdchf. But again, I'm a little bit skeptical on shorting this pair now, simply because of what the DXY is doing. The DXY is looking very, very bullish right now. So the DXY is looking bullish. You know, I don't really want to be shorting Usdchf. I know, you know, price action is price action at the end of the day. But then, you know, if the DXY is showing me clear strength in the dollar, I don't want to be shorting the dollar. You know, not really matter what kind of situation I'm in. So, you know, I'll see what happens at this area. I'll see what happens at this area for Usdchf, because there could be some nice sells. 1.25 still looks good to get hit this low here, because price looks like it's slowly working its way down, putting in these lower highs in the market. So kind of looking for that third lower high to happen somewhere, and then for price to come right back down to test 1.25, which is this support, nice psychological level as well. So I'm still looking for that move, but I probably won't enter as long as the DXY is looking like that. The DXY maybe, you know, rejects that high, puts in a double top, maybe shows some nice rejection, and maybe I look to enter Usdchf. But at this moment in time, I'll probably let that one go. So yeah, I'll probably, if we can break through this and break through that trend line, then I'll probably say Usdchf back to highs. At the moment, I'm not too sure, so I'm going to leave that pair alone, wait to see what it does at that level, and then I'll probably form my bias of how it reacts with that. But yeah, Usdchf will be leaving alone until further notice. We did see some big moves for NZD/USD and AUD/USD overnight. As you can see, price is really rejecting this that level there. Price is still actually putting in some lower highs here for AU, as you can see. Lower high, and another lower high again overnight, and a big push to the downside. So for me, AU is still looking bearish. It is coming into this support here, but I feel like because we're still putting in those lower highs, I feel like we probably still will break through that area and see a move back down into this support. So I'm still bearish on AU. Again, it's not the best place to look to short into because we're coming into that support. So if you're looking for opportunities for AU, I'll probably say definitely wait for some retracement. Maybe we might get that over some New York session. I think we might do have some news coming in later. Let me just go double check that. Because if we do have some news coming in later, that could, you know, push these pairs back up, which means we could be looking at some nice opportunities later on to sell it back down again. Okay, yeah, so we've got some employment changes at 1:15 today, high impact according to my FX book. So might see something from that, maybe not too much, but it does say it's high impact, so we'll have to see. So yeah, we do have some news coming out, so do watch out for that, guys. But yeah, if we can have a reaction to that to the upside, that's great. Really nice hourly support there in the market. If we can come back, you know, retest this area here, that'll be great. and like I said, sells right back down into these lows here. So really nice entry could be looked at from there. Again, looking about 80 pips to the downside as well. So 20 pips stop loss, 1 to 4, 25, 1 to 3. So really nice risk reward there as well. So yeah, AU for me is still bearish. You can see where the momentum's coming in. It's coming in from the bears here. Really sharp moves to the downside. So you can see momentum's definitely with the bears. Very retracement price action here for the bulls. So the overall trend is still for the bears. So the better trade is definitely the sells. So after some retracement, or maybe coming to think of it, because we might not get that retracement, the break and retest of this level here could be good as well, and shorts back down there. Either way, we're looking for shorts back down to 0.717, maybe you can squeeze 0.71500 as well, some new lows. So yeah, AUD/USD is looking quite bearish. NZD/USD looking bearish as well. As you can see, actually a little bit more bearish than AU. Big push to the downside. Price kind of gave us a bit of a double top there with this resistance, rejected that, big move to the downside. So again, same with this one. After this momentum shift here, definitely going to be seeing a bit of a pullback, and then the continuations. Again, whether we get that pullback or not, price could easily just leak to the downside. Come and test the support here, break through that. But if we can retrace, great. Can be looking at some of these areas up there, price support. Now will be turn resistance and set it back down. But again, it's only a matter if we can pull up that far to go and retest those areas. Maybe we will with the news coming out at 1:15. We'll have to see. But right now, looking very, very bearish. So what I'm seeing across the board here is mainly just US dollar strength, and I will be expecting that to continue. So I'm expecting DXY to put in some new highs soon, and it's not quite there yet. So I'm still expecting DXY to push up, which means I'm still expecting dollar strength. So all these pairs that we just gone through here, AU, Pound USD, and not NZD CAD, NZD USD, USD CAD, Euro USD, all those pairs that we've gone through, looking for those selling opportunities. Apart from obviously USD CAD will be a really good opportunity. We just need a rate for that retracement, and also gold as well, looking for those sales as well. Okay, yeah, sure thing. We'll take a look at GR30. Okay, wow, we just took a big dive there on the 4H time frame. Okay, price, price is looking quite bearish here. We're coming back into this area here though, which is probably the support you're talking about. This support there. Let me just zoom out. Okay, so at those highs. Okay, so we're coming into really nice support. I've got a feeling that we'll probably take out this support. Not necessarily take out the support to continue down, but take out the support maybe with a wick, and then push up, because there will be a lot of liquidity up below this area here, and price is looking very, very bearish right now, especially that momentum that I just saw on the 4H. So yeah, we could be seeing some nice longs here. We could be seeing some nice longs, but definitely patience is definitely the thing we want to be seeing here, because price, is at a really nice area, but that candle there is just very, very bearish here. And with that momentum, we're likely going to spike through the support, might pull back up, give some confirmations, and then some buys could be looking good back to the upside. You can probably look to target some of these levels here, there as well. So yeah, there could be some nice longs, I do admit, but definitely wait for some confirmations, because with that momentum, we could actually go and break through it and actually head down further. So do need to take that into account. I don't expect that to happen. I probably expect to see a wick below, take the liquidity out, and then pop back up. So that's what I do expect to happen. But yeah, definitely wait for those confirmations. Wait to see if we can see some bit more wicks there, maybe in the 4H or hourly time frame, get some wicks to the downside, and then some buys back up, and you can look to target some of those areas. But overall price is still quite bearish and don't really want to go against it too much. So maybe a test of that trend line there as well. So yeah, longs do look good. It's at a really nice area. But yeah, just like I said, be careful, because price might want to go and break it, and it might move a little bit further down. It might hit 14,600, maybe even 14 14,400, because we do have, you know, this wick here on the left that price might want to spike through as well. So there is targets price can go and manipulate before it does see some upside. But yeah, you are right, it's that nice area. Just need to wait for those confirmations to see if price wants to break through or hold that level essentially. But it's that nice area, just need to wait for price action to turn, because that is looking very, very bearish there, you know, looking at the 4H and hourly time frame. So, you know, wait for that price action, and if you get it, I think that's a nice area to get some longs in. Maybe you can look to hold it a little bit further, but you know, better be safe than sorry. Take some partials off. But yeah, that's a nice area, and hopefully you can see a bit of a move to the upside there. Bitcoin, we saw a bit more upside for this pair as well. Big push, broke through this key level of resistance. Again, I've been talking about this level here on the weekly analysis, and I said if you can break through this, Bitcoin does have a good chance of getting back to these highs up here, and like I said, maybe even further, 55k as well, 57k as well. So yeah, I'm still bullish here on Bitcoin, especially after breaking through that area. We might be seeing price come back down and have a retest of this, then continue, or maybe just a bit of retracement and continue. Either which way, I wouldn't really be looking for sales. I know it's coming to a really nice area of supply, but you know, Bitcoin here, the structure is bullish, especially after taking out that previous high there as well. So yeah, Bitcoin more upside for this one. Might retrace first, and if it comes back to retest this, I think this is just another valid entry to get in some longs and take that to the upside there as well. Yeah, no problem. RDK happy to help. Yeah, so Bitcoin looking very, very bullish. Like I said, break through that. I'm looking at this area here, which is around the 57k mark. So we will see if Bitcoin can do that. If Bitcoin does that, we might be heading back to highs 65k further as well potentially. So you know, do take note of that, because that could be a significant price. CAD CHF, CHF JPY sure thing. CAD CHF, CAD CHF. Okay, so CAD CHF, this pair, we're seeing some downside now. For this one, again, CAD CHF is still at this area of resistance here on the daily. Again, I do expect it to eventually break through this one, but it is running out of steam. I do have to admit, with all these wicks here, normally when you see price break through a level, you know, you don't want to see so many wicks, because it shows that price is slowing down, losing the momentum. If anything, you want to see price gain momentum to go and break through a level. So yeah, still do expect it to break, but it might take a dive first before it does happen, and simply just because of my analysis on higher time frame. So okay, so CAD CHF, we're seeing some nice momentum there in the 4H. Nice momentum there in the hourly as well. Price for me is still just a little bit bullish because of this channel here. So I think the best possible, because we do have this channel here with a slight false breakout there in the 4H. You know, we are coming back into that same area again. I think if you can see this momentum really kick into the downside, retrace for us, then you can catch that second leg on that sells. I think that's the much better trade, much safer trade as well, because this channel here is just very, very choppy here, and they're not the best shorts coming into that channel there. So if I was you, or if you are looking for shorts here for CAD CHF, I'd say wait for the break, that momentum to kick in. Doesn't have to take out these lows, but at least get below the trend line. Wait for that retracement. The retest of the trend line will be great, or just form a lower high somewhere, and then you can catch that second leg to the downside. Probably look to target these areas here, maybe even further as well. So yeah, shorts are looking good. CAD CHF's had a really nice reaction there this morning. You know, the coming London session, nice move to the downside. So hopefully that can continue for us a little bit there. Break through the trend line here. As you can see, we had that break here, but it was false. We came straight back in. So definitely important thing to know, if you can break and hold that as resistance. If you start holding the trend line as resistance, you know, it means that we could be seeing that second leg to the downside. You know, look for your entry confirmations, and then, you know, can target 0.73, nice psychological level there. So yeah, CAD CHF shorts are looking good. It's at a really key level on the daily as well. But I say a break of that trend line and then the continuations, because there's still a chance that price You know, I know it's looking quite bearish now, but it can still come back in, lose momentum, a few wicks, you know, and have another move to the upside as well. And if that's the case, you know, you don't want to be looking at sells. If anything, you want to buy the pair. It's at that bullish trend line, but you know, if you're looking for those sells, definitely wait for the break. And if you are looking for buys, you know, the trend line will be a nice place, but just definitely wait for confirmation as well. So yeah, CAD CHF sells could be looking good, but I'll probably say wait for the break of the trend line, the retest, low high, and then catch those second legs to the downside. And I'll probably say 0.73 is looking like a good target down here. Nice psychological level as well. So yeah, it's looking good, CAD CHF. I'll probably just wait for that break of that trend line to confirm things, you know, before price, you know, finds support on that and pushes on. And you know, you don't want to be in that trade if price is doing that. And CHF JPY, okay, CHF JPY for this pair. Okay, so CHF JPY, it looks like it's finding a bit of resistance here. We could be forming a double top potentially, getting ready for a move to the downside. If that is the case, it's looking good for some sells. Really good for some sells actually, because you know, if that is that double top, you know, first targets will probably be this area here, the neckline, and then if you can break through that, you know, we could go a lot further. But okay, so CHF JPY, nice resistance. Whether it holds the resistance is still yet to be confirmed. It's a nice bearish candle there, but price is a little bit choppy. It doesn't really set itself apart, you know, from these other candles here. Kind of looks like we're still in this bit of a channel. So if like a bit of a similar setup to CAD CHF in terms of breaking through the channel, you know, retesting and then continuing. But yeah, CHF JPY is still kind of moving in that kind of corrective channel there, coming into that resistance, which is a good sign as well, because it means that price is weakening at a really nice psychological level as well. I just noticed 120, so really nice psychological level there. And if we can hold that, then yeah, sales will be looking good and move back down into this area here, 119 as well, the next psychological level as well. But going the hourly time frame, my mouse is playing up today a little bit. Hey, good morning, Spiritual Bandit. Welcome back to the stream. Hope you are doing well. Hope everyone's doing well, actually. But yeah, CHF JPY, nice sell-off. I do have to admit, nice sell-off. I think if I can draw that channel a bit more accurately to see if we actually have broken through that trend line or not. Probably draw it with the bodies there. So yeah, we have had a nice break of this trend line there. Draw it with the bodies. So I draw it using the wicks. Then we've also had a nice break up there as well, a long time ago actually. So we've broken through both those trend lines, and I say wait for that that pullback to really confirm things, because we do have this wick here, which price is failing to break through, which is like kind of like the higher low. So I'll probably say wait for that pullback, the lower high, you know, show that rejection, maybe a nice bearish engulfing, something like that. Then we could be getting into those sells to the downside. Oh, welcome C319, welcome to the family, welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing, does mean a lot, appreciate guys. And yeah, if you guys, you know, want to hit the like button and all that good stuff, feel free to go do so. It really does help the channel out. But yeah, thank you for subscribing. So yeah, CHF JPY sells do look good, that lower high, because that double top looks like potentially could be forming, and it's at that 120 level as well. So yeah, shorts back down to 119, I'd say, and yeah, maybe even further as well. Yeah, no problem, happy to help. Yeah, CHF JPY does look good, do have to admit. CAD CHF as well, only if it can just take off that trend line a little bit, because CAD has just been bullish. You know, US oil has been making its way to the upside. I don't know if it's looking a little bit bearish now. Okay, yes, we're seeing a bit of a bearish candle there, but if you look at the, you know, the bigger picture, we've been really moving to the upside, and recently we've just taken out this high over there as well, as you can see. So price is, you know, still bullish for oil, which does mean CAD sometimes gets dragged with it. Well, most of the time gets dragged with it. So CAD is quite strong as well. But if oil can start to take a bit of a breather, that means CAD will probably come down, and probably see CAD CHF, you know, come to the downside as well. So it is something to note when you are looking to trade the CAD pairs. Good morning, Jackson. How are you doing? Yeah, sure thing. We'll take a look at pound USD and gold as always. So yeah, pound USD is actually a pair that I'm looking at. So on my watch list, I'm looking to get involved in some sales for this one. Usdchf, we were looking at these levels yesterday, and I was saying if price can hold this level as resistance, sales will be looking good back down into these lows here. Well, eventually these lows. As you see, we popped our head back above that area, so I wasn't too sure if price was trying to break above this and retest it, continue, you know, going to hit this zone up there, 1.37. But as you can see, this morning it came straight back down, 2 a.m. candle closure down the 4H, back below that level. Again, that was during the Asian session, so I wasn't trading that. But then we, you know, really came to the downside this morning here during London. So price is looking bearish here for pound USD. And I do have that bearish bias coming back into play with us firmly back below this 1.36 level. I'm looking at price pushing back down to 1.35 and then back down to these lows and maybe 1.34 as well. So yeah, do have that sell bias for pound USD. It is on my watch list. I'm waiting for some confirmations for this one. We already had the confirmation. I'm just waiting for the pullback actually. So I'm looking at price potentially coming back, you know, retesting this area here was support. Now will be time resistance. So seeing if we can get a nice retest of this area, then some sells into those lows, or at least sells into this area here. Nice area of demand there as well. So yeah, sells for pound USD for me. Just waiting for that retracement. Really nice, you know, pattern here. Just waiting for price to essentially do this kind of pattern here as well. Just retest that support, now resistance. Really common pattern that we see in the markets actually. So just retest that area there and look for those sells. There is a chance that we might not get that retest though, because again, like yesterday, we do have some news coming out for USD. So if that is good news for USD, it could push price a little bit further. Then I'll probably start looking at this area here for pound USD and then retest that to continue. But if we can retest this, entries there to sell, and then yeah, overall targets will be 1.34200. But you know, it depends on how many pips you're looking to capture. You know, you can look at areas here or areas there as well. But yeah, pound USD sells for me. And gold sells as well. I'm looking at take advantage of gold. Yesterday we were looking at this trend line here. We're looking at this trend line here first, second, third, and I was saying if price trying to break through it or trying to stay underneath it and just catch people on the wrong side of the market. And now, you know, with hindsight, you can see it looks like price was just trying to capture people on the wrong side of the market there. So gold, I'm bearish because DXY still looks like it's heading to the upside. I still do expect to see some new highs for the DXY. So I'm still expecting strength from the dollar, which means, you know, the correlation between gold and the DXY. Gold should be heading to the downside. So not only do we have gold heading to the downside for technical reasons, we also got it for correlation as well. So gold shorts are looking very, very good, especially momentum kicking in during the Asian and London session. Just waiting for some retracement for this pair to come back in, you know, a lower high somewhere, retest the trend line or retest this trend line that I've just drawn in there with the first, second touch there, looking for the third. Yeah, just a lower high somewhere around here and then sells back down into these lows. But like I said before as well, probably want to take into account that zone there as well, kind of 1735, because that might bounce price to the upside. So overall, looking for sells for pound USD and gold. Just waiting for retracements for both of them. Hopefully we can get them in the York session. Then we can follow those trades to the downside. And you know, overall targets will be the lows. Same as pound USD, overall targets are the lows. 1725, and then we might continue even further as well. So yeah, shorts for gold are looking very, very good, and both pairs are actually on my watch list for today and probably tomorrow as well, depending what we get. But yeah, gold sells are looking good for me. Yeah, actually I'm in a trade. I'm in pound AUD shorts. Yeah, I'm looking for sales for pound AUD. So far price was looking good, but price has shot up against me here. My stop losses I think is at 775. Yeah, here. So in some drawdown there for pound AUD. Again, not too sure about this trade anymore because I was expecting a bit more strength from the Aussie dollar. We did see that strength but it was short-lived, as you can see. AUDJPY yesterday, we were talking about some buys for this pair. We did see some nice momentum to the upside, but then during that Asian session, price just absolutely collapsed to the downside, which has pushed the market up against me. So pound AUD still in these shorts. We'll see how price holds into this level here. If it does break through, it's probably just going to go hit my stop loss. If it does push back down again, then I might consider adding a second position, because you know that price just retracing, hitting that resistance again for a second time. Might as well look to capitalize on that opportunity, add another position. If not, yeah, price will probably just hit my stop loss. But yeah, I'm currently in pound AUD. We'll see how this trade gets on. I did post this one in my Telegram. I'm looking for overall price to head back down to these lows here for pound AUD. Again, it might go further, but we will see. So yeah, currently in pound AUD, I'm just seeing if we can hold on to that resistance, and hopefully those sales will come in. I'm also looking at short in pound USD as well. So overall, I'm still looking at a bit of weakness for the pound, so hopefully that can drag price down. But yeah, we will see. Only time will tell. Morning, Arla. How are you doing? Hope you are doing well. Short pound USD since 13620. Nice. 1.3620. Wow, so that really nice entry there. Price is really shot into your direction there. So really nice trade. Waiting for some retracement to add more. Nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking for some retracement to get in as well. You know, I was just talking earlier about waiting for pound USD to see if we can retest this area and then push on. So support, now time resistance. So I'm looking at entries around there to short pound USD down again. So yeah, hopefully can get that entry. It might not, like I said earlier, it might push on and then go and retest this area instead, depending how bearish it is, because you know right now it's looking very bearish, and looks like DXY will probably head up. But if you can get that retracement, I'll look to enter as well. Morning, Boon Hong. Yeah, sure thing. We'll take a look at EuroJPY. So yeah, EuroJPY, crazy movements for this one. I remember on the stream yesterday we were talking about some buying opportunities. You know, price was looking like it was breaking out of this kind of consolidation. I said if you can get that breakout, it'll be good. We did eventually get that breakout. Price shot to the upside. I was talking about price hitting this area of resistance and then potentially this area up here as well. Price did hit that area, but then as you can see, a massive collapse to the downside for EuroJPY during, yeah, just about as London was opening, price just collapsed. So yeah, EuroJPY is looking very bearish right now, and I think it's just continuing that momentum there, as you can see on the left. Really nice momentum for the bears. I think overall this just looks like it's retracement now. So if I just highlight that area, looks like price is kind of just retracing, a bit of a wedge there, and now we're seeing momentum come in again. So overall, I think EuroJPY is still looking for those sells to the downside. And if I just zoom out to the 4H, I think we're probably going to get a move now back down into these lows here. And all we've seen really is just price retrace after that impulse. Now I'm going to see the continuation back into those lows there, 128, nice psychological level as well. So yeah, EuroJPY, I'm thinking sells for this one. Again, like the other pairs that have really kicked off this morning, you want to wait for price to retrace because we've had such a collapse there. Price could still move on, yes, but we're probably likely to retrace anyway. So yeah, looking for that retracement on EuroJPY, whether we get it at this kind of resistance here, which held the consolidation yesterday, or we retrace up and get it at this support here, I'm not too sure. But you know, one of these areas, you know, will be looking good depending on the price action, and then sells back down to 1.28. So you know, the risk to reward does look good and hitting those lows, so we'll be waiting on that retracement and then those sells back down to 1.28. So EuroJPY looks like a great opportunity, I do have to admit. And yeah, probably maybe even further than that. So yeah, EuroJPY sells for me after a little bit of retracement, and then target to 1.28 down there. Maybe some new lows as well, 1.27500. Next psychological level could be hit as well. So yeah, shorts for EuroJPY are looking good. Morning, Orain, how are you doing? Welcome back to the stream. Usdchf, yeah, sure thing. Yeah, Usdchf. So Usdchf, I was looking at sales for Usdchf yesterday, but now I'm not too sure about it anymore. because I was saying yesterday that Usdchf is looking good, still putting in those lower highs. Now I'm eventually looking for a push back down to 1.25, really nice key psychological level. We almost actually did get that. Oh, my voice. Excuse me. Okay, so yeah, we're looking at price getting down to 1.25 yesterday, but as you can see, we didn't quite get there. Now we're looking a little bit bullish, and now looking at the DXY as well. You know, price is looking really, really bullish here. And I do suspect DXY to take out those highs and push on further. So with that information, I don't really want to look to sell Usdchf, simply because I'm expecting to see strength from the dollar. It looks like potentially could be putting a low there to continue, but I'll say to confirm things, Usdchf for me has to break through this level and the trend line, and then we can see that continuation to the upside. So Usdchf, I'm a little bit on the fence here, because this level here does still look good for sells. You know, support there, now time resistance. Maybe it could be a bit of a day trade there, some nice sells at intraday to the downside. I wouldn't hold on those sells for too long, because if the DXY does continue, Usdchf will probably continue to the upside as well. So Usdchf, I think there will be some good buys if you can get above this level and that trend line, and then start to take it further to the upside there. Other than that, yeah, I'll probably leave Usdchf alone. It's not a pair that I'm too convinced on right now. Like I said, there might be some nice intraday sells there, you know, for maybe about 30-40 pips, but I wouldn't hang on to the trade longer than that, just because, you know, dollar is looking very, very strong. So, and I don't want to short get dollar right now. So yeah, Usdchf for me, not too sure about that one. Probably just wait for price to clear this resistance from that level and that trend line, and then probably start making a lot more sense after that. But if it does reject this, like I said, there might be some small intraday shorts. But yeah, I think intraday shorts might be the best you'll get there, because dollar is still looking quite strong. Can I look at, do you mean Euro GBP? Yeah, I'm not sure about EUT, but I'll look at Euro GBP, and also R is next to T on the keyboard. So yeah, maybe you made that mistake. But yeah, I'll look at Euro Pound. Okay, so Euro Pound, yeah, Euro Pound's been a bit crazy recently. As you can see, big moves up, big moves down all over the shop. Recently, we found a bit of support here at just above 0.85, nice psychological level there as well. So if I do drag this across, you can see prices at that support, and if we can hang on to that, there could be some nice buys coming in maybe. Yeah, we'll look at the hourly time frame. So at this kind of key level of support, we have pushed ahead to the upside from this support. You know, whether we keep going, I have no idea, just because we have all this momentum here to the downside, which I don't really like going against. There's some nice price action here on the hourly, because we've found a bit of a base here. We've wicked to the downside and now pushed to the upside. So it is a nice hint that potentially we could be seeing some upsides here for Euro Pound. But yeah, it's just that momentum I don't like going against. So overall, price is at a really nice area of support, near a nice psychological level as well, 0.85. So yeah, I'll say sells, buys do look good. If we can hang on to this area, then you can probably look at targeting these areas here. But again, I probably would say these short-term buys, because I still do see Euro Pound heading back down into these lows here. I still do see Euro Pound heading back down to these lows. So again, if you are looking at buys, I wouldn't hang on to that trade for too long, because I think Euro Pound could easily turn bearish, you know, and just fall to the downside quite quickly as well, especially with all that, you know, higher time frame momentum there as well. So yeah, longs are looking good if we can hang on to that. Right now it is still looking quite bearish, so I'm not too sure if we will. But yeah, we'll have to see. Price action is looking good down the hourly, nice wick to the downside. Not too sure about that bearish candle, got about 8 minutes before it closes. So maybe if we can put another higher low in, you know, we could probably push to the upside, but I'm not too sure if I look to push past this resistance or that resistance there in those buys, just because you know, we are buying it against all of this bearish momentum, which is not always the best thing from my experience. So yeah, buys do look good if we can hang on to that, but I probably wouldn't look past those two levels, because I still do see euro pound eventually coming back down to these lows here. So if anything, you know, I'll probably wait to see price push up and then look to short it back down actually, rather than buy it. But it is up to you, because it is a nice level, I do have to admit. But if, you know, if price doesn't hold there, it's probably coming back down to 0.84600. We'll have to see. That candle was quite bearish, but we will see. There's still about 6 minutes before it closes. So yeah, the buys are looking good. It's just a little bit aggressive because of that momentum. I think euro is still looking quite weak. I think euro had a bit of news this morning. If I go double check that, I'm pretty sure we did have some news for euro. So yes, yeah, we did have some news for euro this morning, some retail sales, which was bad for euro. So I think that's what's having an effect on this position here. So euro is quite weak right now, and pound is a little bit weak as well, but definitely not as weak as euro. Hence why euro pound is pushing to the downside a little bit with that current candle. But again, we'll see how candles close and stuff. But yeah, I'm just not too sure about going against that momentum. Just a little bit aggressive for me. Usdchf, we did see a nice move to the upside again. I was talking about some longs for this one because we were at a really nice area of resistance here. Well, it was resistance, now turned support, so really big move to the downside. We worked into it a couple of times as well, now acting as support. And I said buys will be looking good here on the weekly analysis, and I would say, you know, price back up to these highs, you know, near enough 112 and then maybe 113 as well if USD keeps up its strength. But yeah, for me, USDY is still looking strong, DXY is still looking strong as well, so that probably drag it up as well. JPY is seeing some strength, of course. You know, you've got Euro JPY collapsing, Pound JPY collapsing to the downside, CAD JPY, you know, sort of collapsing there. So JPY is seeing some strength, and USD and JPY do normally have similar strengths in the market. You know, they're either both weak at the same time or both strong at the same time. Clearly, as you can see, USD is just slightly stronger than the JPY right now, but you know, overall we are still pushing to the upside. So for me, I think use JPY a bit more to the upside, back into 112, and if we can break through that, probably look at 113. Yeah, sure thing. We'll take a look at Usdchf. Usdchf. Okay, yeah, Usdchf overall still bullish for me. Looking at this pair, you know, we've still got this key level of daily support resistance. That price is still hanging on to. So as you can see, support there, resistance, 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 resistance. Now support as well. And we're finding some feet there. So yeah, I can see price eventually for Usdchf working its way back to these highs up here. Oh, that is just an awful line. Working its way back to this highs up here around the 0.44 area. So yeah, I'm still fixed on buys for Usdchf. And like I said, I see price getting up there. So if we can get those pullbacks, will be great. I'm not a fan of this momentum though. It's not really nice looking at that compared to this bearish momentum here. So I definitely wouldn't look at buys. Take buys there, probably wait for price to either come back down, higher low, double bottom, something like that, and then maybe see a nice shift of momentum and then get on the buys. But yeah, for me, I'm bullish on Usdchf. You know, first targets will probably be this resistance here. And then if you're really looking to swing things, you know, you can look to hold on to those highs up there. But for me, Usdchf is looking good for buys. Not with that momentum, so like I said, maybe move to the downside again and then we take it up. Higher low or double bottom, you know, kind of whichever looks better at the time. or whichever happens at the time. But yeah, like I said, my direction is to the upside. Only really looking at buys there, but just that momentum is not looking great, especially compared to that sell-off. You know, we could easily find resistance here again, or supply, and come straight back down again. So we'll be looking at buys, you know, at that support or the higher low, then take it further to the upside. But yeah, my bias is bullish. Yeah, USD is still dropping. Yeah, it's looking very bearish here, because again, Euro is weak, USD strong. You know, it's a great combination, and Euro is really taking off right now. So yeah, Euro USD is bullish, and I think it will probably continue further, because like I said, DXY, I reckon, still has to at least go and hit these highs up here. So there's still room to the upside for the DXY, which means there's still room to the downside for Euro USD as well. So yeah, Euro USD will probably continue dropping. You know, I think next target could actually be that 1.15 down here, and probably see price really continue into those lows. Again, if when I went to the weekly time frame for Euro USD, you know, there's a lot of room that price could go fill here to the downside, back into this area here, which is, you know, that whole zone. I think potentially Euro USD could actually go and make it down to those areas there. I wouldn't be surprised if that does happen. So, you know, we could be seeing a lot more downside here for Euro USD, and I wouldn't be surprised if we just kept going. And same for Pound USD as well, but I think Pound USD is not as much, simply because Euro is a lot weaker right now. Had that bearish news for Euro not too long ago. So yeah, Pound USD is looking good, simply because I think it's going to follow Euro. Euro is really taken off. I think eventually Pound will probably take out these lows here as well. So I think if we can get that retracement, you know, the risk to reward is looking great. If I measure that, you know, we're looking at, you know, potentially 180, 190, maybe 200 pips if you go really clear that low. But yeah, the sells are looking great here for those pairs. So hopefully we can get some retracement for Pound. Again, I know some people are already in the trade, and that's looking good. But if you can get some retracement with Pound, yeah, I would say sell back down to that 1.34 mark, and just go follow Euro USD, because yeah, Euro USD is collapsing right now. And Euro JPY is looking bearish as well. I think that pair will follow Euro USD, probably eventually go take out these lows, take out 128. Maybe head back down to 1.27 as well. So, you know, retracement on Euro JPY is looking very good as well. Pound NZD, yeah, sure thing. Yeah, Pound NZD is looking very bullish here. We had a wick to the downside, now price is really pushing to the upside. Was not expected that for Pound NZD, to be honest. I was expecting price to eventually break out this kind of choppy retracement here, bear flag, and take off to the downside, but price is still looking bullish, and it's still pushing to the upside past 1.96, past 1.96, and looks like it might be heading up to 1.97500, maybe even 1.98, coming testing that resistance up there. So yeah, Pound NZD is looking quite bullish here, pushing to the upside, and I think it probably has a little bit more left in it. Again, I was looking at the kind of this area support resistance, because we had all this support here. It looks like price is starting to pop its head back above. So the only way to tell that is obviously with the daily candle closure, if it is breaking back above that area. But it is looking very bullish. Again, sells could be looking good soon, but just not now. Definitely to wait for that confirmation. If we are pushing back above this support, now I'll probably say price will probably push it into this resistance up here. I'll probably say sells from there will be looking good. Sells from there will be looking good, but right now it's just too bullish to sell the market. So for me, I'll probably say wait for price to push up a little bit more, back into kind of the 1.98 area. I'll say sells from there look good, but you know, price is looking bullish, especially with this wick here to the downside, grabbing liquidity and then taking off to the upside. I think maybe NZD had some news yesterday, because looking at all the NZD pairs, we did have a bit of a wick to the upside before price did continue there. You can see for Usdchf, JPY, the USD, big wick to the upside before that drop happened. So There might have been some news last night, but yeah, pound entity is continuing to the upside very, very aggressively. So yeah, I'd say sales are looking good, but I'd probably wait for price to move a little bit higher first. Euro AUD sure thing. Okay, Euro AUD for standard daily. Okay, Euro AUD we're coming back down into these lows here. Looks like we've actually seen some new lows though. As you can see, we had, let's get rid of that. As you can see, we've spiked through there, so we've got some new lows there for Euro AUD, and it looks like price is just giving us basically what pound AUD gave us, which is a head and shoulders. And I think we're probably getting ready for that continuation back down into these lows here, the 1.57 area. So yeah, I would say overall I'm short bias on Euro AUD. Yeah, I mean right now it is coming into that support, so it's definitely not the best place to short. If I just mark that support there again, coming back into this daily support, so it's definitely not the place you want to get into some daily shorts or whatever time frame shorts really. Definitely wait for price to retrace first and then to sell it back down again. Really nice resistance and support going through here. If price was to move back into this area, that would be nice, and then short it back down, or wait for the break of this and the retest and the continuation. But overall for me, yeah, Euro AUD is just not looking too good right now. It's still looking bearish, and I think we'll probably see price break through that area and continue. So yeah, Euro AUD sales are looking good. I just want price to retrace for me a little bit first. Again, maybe this 1.60500 area, that resistance there, just taken across, and then those sales will be looking good. Whether we trace that far, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if we will. I mean, overall, if I go in the hourly time frame, we still do have that bearish structure. With this, we'll see another way to the downside, back into that support. Again, I'm not too sure if we will break through that. We're still putting in these lower highs here. So yeah, I'm expecting UAD to make that move, but overall, I'm bearish on this pair. Even if we do see that move to the upside, I'll probably just get ready to sell it back down again. So yeah, overall UAD I'm bearish. Right now looks like we can get another leg to the downside in the hourly time frame. It'd be nice to see a bit bigger retracement on the 4H and get ready for some swings. But UAD looks like it's heading to the downside again. Yeah, sure thing, we'll take a look at Eurocad. So yeah, Eurocad's still bearish. Looks like pretty much all Euro pairs are looking bearish. That Euro news must have been quite bad. Wow, we've actually seen new lows here for Eurocad actually. As you can see here, if I draw that wick in, you can see we've actually punctured through those lows. So Eurocad still looking very bearish. It's coming into those lows, a really nice area potential. You might find support and see some upside. Again, if you are looking for buys for Eurocad, do be careful, simply because this is a very popular area where everyone will be looking for buys since we're back at the lows again. So a lot of manipulation could happen. You could argue, potentially that's some manipulation there. Big wick to the downside, then we pulled all the way back up again. But we could still see that happening, especially with this bearish structure here. Price is still putting in these lower highs. As you can see, still putting in these lower highs. Market potentially one could be there as well. So yeah, longs are looking good because it's at a really nice area. But like I said, everyone will be looking at this area here. So it's quite easy to manipulate a lot of people before we do see that bigger move to the upside. So probably say wait for at least a double bottom, at least, or price to at least break through. Maybe some structure. We've got a bit of that trend line forming. Maybe if you can break through that, see price do something like that. Give us some nice buys there. And again, don't hold them to those buys for too long either, just because it is a bit of a reversal trade at that support, and we could be seeing a nice push up, then price just comes right back down again. So I said buys do look good because of where they are, but again, wait for that extra confirmation first. We do have this kind of trend line coming down here, so I'll be saying wait for price to break through that trend line, confirm support again, and then take the trade, a nice shift of momentum. Whereas here, as you can see, the bears are definitely in control of the market. So whilst the bears are definitely in control, do definitely don't want to be getting to longs. Definitely a recipe for disaster there. So if you can break through high low, retest that support, something like that, retest the trend line at least, buys will be looking good. Probably look to target the highs of the trend line, which is that resistance, maybe this resistance here max, because it still is a bearish market on the higher time frames. You can see has such a big collapse to the downside. So we could see some nice upside and then eventually come back down again. So yeah, buys do look good. Just watch out because a lot of people will be looking for their buys here, and manipulation could definitely happen as well. So just be on the safer side than sorry. The better trade is normally the trade that is the least risk, not necessarily the most potential, the most risk reward, the most pips to catch. Is the least riskiest is normally the best trade. So yeah, it does look good. Just wait for some confirmations. Yeah, nice. Yes, I do agree there. It's looking good. It's looking good for some longs. Just not yet though. Just not yet. I think if we can see CAD start to weaken, CAD Usdchf still coming into that trend line there that we were talking about earlier. As you can see, this candle actually did pull back up there quite a bit. So yeah, Eurocad, CAD Usdchf, if it does break through that trend line and we see that momentum just continue, then hopefully Eurocad can start picking back up again, seeing some upside. Maybe CAD JPY will start seeing a little bit more downside. This one has sold off quite well, to be honest, actually this morning since 7 there, nice sell off to the downside. So price is looking quite bearish here for CAD JPY, but recently we just broken through this resistance here. As you can see, support there, resistance there as well. We closed above that. We're back below it today, so maybe we're getting a false breakout. Not too sure. We'll find out when that daily candle closes. But overall, we're still trading at a very, very key level of daily resistance. So if we can close back below, that will confirm the false break. And again, tomorrow, which is Thursday, I believe. Yeah, tomorrow is Thursday. Some sales could be looking good and then taking some continuation to the downside, because we've had quite a big move there. As you can see, quite a big move to the upside for CAD JPY. Very strong bullish candles there, not much bearish candle. We stalled a little bit there, but overall we're still quite bullish. So I think if you do hold on to this zone, shorts will be looking good again for this pair. But I'll probably wait for the daily candles to close to see how it closes in proportion to that resistance. And if you close nicely below it, then I will be looking for that lower high tomorrow, see if price can push on for me, lower high, maybe retest that resistance, something like that, and then we can sell that back down into these lows around there. So CAD JPY could be looking good for some shorts. JPY is looking very strong right now, so if that can continue for the rest of the week, we could really be seeing these pairs really collapse to the downside. CAD JPY, Euro JPY, NZ JPY, AD JPY, Pound JPY as well. We were looking at Pound JPY yesterday. We're looking at potential sales and buys for this one because we were not too sure what price was going to do with this level here. I said if you can come back for the retest, buys will be looking good, but if you do get back below this area, probably looking for sales back down into this support down here. And it looks like, as you can see, big shift momentum back to the bears. So potentially Pound JPY could be getting ready to see a move back down into these lows here. We are still putting in these lower highs here. Potentially that is a lower high there again. So if that's the case, on the retest of that, sales will be looking good for Pound JPY. Right now, however, it is actually not really broken through that area just yet. So I wouldn't say that's confirmed sales. But if you can break through, maybe on the next candle, we're still about 2 hours 48 minutes before that closes, so that's a long time before that candle closes. So if we can continue that momentum to the downside, retest, I'll say sales back down to 149,200 are looking good. And Pound JPY has many pips to it, as you can see here, 200 pips to the downside. So those sales will definitely be looking very good if we can get that break. Euro JPY, we were looking at this one earlier. I said sales do look good for Euro JPY here. while euro is really pushing it to the downside here. Looks like we're really seeing that weakness here. Euro JPY, we saw some nice sells here coming. London session price just kicked off here, completely just eradicating that price action there to the left. So yeah, so sells for this one do look good. These are the two areas which I'm interested in for retracement. This resistance here, which kind of held that consolidation yesterday, looking at retracement back into that, sells back down again, or retracement to that and sells back down again. The further price gets, the least likely price is to retrace back to this level here. So I'll probably just delete that altogether really, because I do not see price getting back there. If I do get a fib on this, I'll make it a bit clearer. If I do get a fib on that, you can see price is pushing from that high up there, and to retest that you have to retrace all the way back to past the 0.618. So I'm not too sure if price would do that, but yeah, retest of that, retrace, and then we take it back down to 1.28 into these lows and maybe even further. I always do wait for a retest. I don't take breakouts. I do not take breakouts. I only take retests, retracements. That's basically the basis of the way I trade. I only take retests. Breakouts sometimes do work well, but if you understand that most breakouts are false, you're up against it. If you're trading breakouts here, you definitely have to wait for retest. I know sometimes you don't always get the retest, like this level here, we did not get a retest as we broke through that, but it's better to be on the safe side than getting the riskier position and getting caught out on that. So yeah, Euro JPY waiting for that retracement and the retest of this area. Maybe might even be this area here as well, because we do have that support. This is kind of like the support and resistance that held the consolidation for yesterday. So kind of one of these two levels here, if we can retrace, there's a chance that we might not, because euro is looking really weak right now. So I'm not too sure if it will pull back, but if it can, that will be good. And then one of those two levels, and then shorts back down to 128, sorry, do look very, very good there. So I think I'll probably add Euro JPY to the list because it's looking very good. Just hope that we can see some retracement. But yeah, euro is looking weak. Euro USD still kicking off to the downside, as you can see, really pushing off. Pound USD not as much, actually pushing to the upside. So I imagine euro pound looking very bearish then as well. So as you can see, euro pound still looking quite bearish here as well. That's why I wasn't too fan of those longs, simply because we are shorting, going along against this momentum here. And as for my experience, going along against that type of momentum is never a good thing to do. So yeah, euro is definitely weak right now. Euro USD probably heading back down to 1.1500. Pound USD probably will follow, but not yet. Maybe it's going to give us that retracement that we're looking for, which is great. Pound JPY still looking at a break of that support and then moving to those lows. Euro JPY waiting for that retracement. Again, hopefully we can get it, might not. Just have to wait and see, but shorts are looking good all around basically. JPY sales are looking good, but like I said, I'll probably wait for a daily candle close for JPY, simply because we closed above that level yesterday. So even though the candle right now for the daily time frame is looking really bearish, but we still got 10 hours and 43 minutes before that candle does close, and in that time the daily could easily pull back up and close back above that area with this bearish candle. So shorts getting in today will not be valid anyway. So because we've had that breakout there on the daily, I want to wait for the break back in, and then Thursday drop to my lower time frames, 4H hourly, so you can get any confirmations and then short it to the downside. Probably at the bottom of that wick there, might see that spike into that. So I'll wait for the daily candle to close with this one. So we'll be looking at shorts for tomorrow. So not really interested in JPY right now. But yeah, like I said, if you do continue, basically just waiting for that impulse, retracement, and then impulse again. If not, and we impulse down, then we start impulsing back up again, it probably means that price is going to hold this as support. And tomorrow we could be actually looking to retest as support and then continue that to the upside. So always got to think both ways. You know, if you have a bearish bias, you know, look at potentially how price could be bullish, and if you have a bullish bias, always look at how price could be bearish. You know, not because your idea is wrong, just because price, you know, has a 50-50 chance of going up or down. And sometimes, you know, you could be looking at the market saying, yeah, I'm looking for sells, but then there could be a really clear buy in your face that you just miss, just because you're just ignoring any chance of buys and you're only looking to sell the market. And especially when you have trending markets as well, when price is really pushing to the upside in a trend and you're just looking to sell, looking to sell, and you're missing all these opportunities to buy the market here. So always have, you know, both biases. Definitely can help you out in the long run. But yeah, CAD JPY will wait for that daily candle closure, whereas Euro JPY, you know, I'm just waiting for the retracement for this one. Pound JPY, I'm waiting for price to get below that level. But yeah, Euro JPY, I'm just waiting for the retracement back to the upside to retest one of those areas. We'll get the sells to the downside, and again, you know, we're looking at some decent risk towards 80 pips from that level, you know, 100 pips from that level there. So it's looking good for Euro JPY sells. You know, Euro USD I would be looking at, but that one's just falling off the face of the earth there. And yeah, it's just looking too bearish for me. I wouldn't have liked for price to take out those lows so soon. Probably would like price to push down, maybe come out, retest that, and then I'll get into some sells there. You know, break and retest could be a sell, but I'm not too sure about taking break and retest on this level here, simply because this is just fresh lows. You know, very easy to be manipulated here. But at the end of the day, price action is price action, and I probably do expect to see Euro USD head back down to 1.15 next psychological level. But for me, pound USD is looking a lot better, so hopefully you can get some retracement for this one back into here, really looking a little bit bullish, and then we'll short back down into the lows. Yeah, so if there's any pairs that you guys are looking at, feel free to leave it in the chat. We'll take a look at it, you know, see what's happening across the board. Wow, Usdchf has really dropped to the downside. Looks like price is just consolidating here, and it's finally broken out to the downside. With all that momentum, as you can see, a really nice wick to the upside. I think that might be news, I'm not too sure. You know, spiked definitely a lot of areas, grabbed a lot of liquidity, and then dumped to the downside. So yeah, NZD definitely very, very weak right now, as you can see across the board here. Again, NZD looking for that retracement. Whether we get it or not, I'm not too sure. To sell back off again, but if we do, that'll be fantastic. Pound Usdchf looks like that one's retracing as well. We've had a really nice sell-offs, as you can see. Really nice retracement here. Now, are we potentially getting that again? Could be. Only one way to tell is when we get our confirmations. Price has broken through this trend line here, so that is our first, you know, possible, you know, signal that price is getting ready to continue to the downside. I'll probably just have to wait to see what it does on the retest of that trend line, or possibly the retest of that support. You know, does it reject it or not? If it keeps rejecting it, then yeah, sales will be looking good. And then, you know, first target, second target, then probably some new lows down there as well. But pound Usdchf, you know, I think we'll probably go follow pound JPY, pound USD, and pound JPY. Both see them coming down. So pound Usdchf will follow. Obviously, it's not the exact same pairs. Usdchf does have to be, you know, strong to a certain extent, but I think it probably will follow it eventually, especially after that really nice drop to the downside there as well. Yeah, not the best, not my favourite pair, so I'm not really looking to trade it, but I probably will continue. Usdchf is really dropping to the downside, as you can see with those lower highs, so maybe pound CHF will follow them. Just that euro is a lot weaker than pound, so it's just not working out too much. For pound CHF right now, but if that does start to shift, then we start to see pound get a bit more weaker than euro, then they probably will catch up. CAD CHF not doing too well as well. CAD's still overall quite a strong pair. It really does have to break through that trend line with a lot of momentum to get me interested, and then settle it back down again. Right now putting those wicks near the trend line, it might mean that we continue higher. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, overall really interested in gold, pound USD and euro JPY for those sells. Do have that sell bias, and I'm looking to sell each one of those pairs back into their lows. Euro JPY back down to 128, gold back down to 1724, and pound USD back down to 1.34200. So looking at all three of those pairs, I think they're at the top of my watch list. And yeah, looking for the retracement on all of them pretty much. Hopefully we can get them soon, and then take it further to the downside, because they are looking like great trades. All of them really high risk to reward as well. So it doesn't really matter how they play out. As long as you can get one of those successful, it definitely will make up for the losses on any other trades. So yeah, looking at those pairs at the top of my watch list. If you can get those sells, great. NZD as well. It would be at the top of my watch list, but it's moved a bit too far for me, so I'm not too sure if it will retrace enough for my liking. So I probably will not look at it too much, not focus too much on it. But if it does retrace here, might set an alert for price to trigger it. And if that's the case, then yeah, we'll be looking to get some sells. If not, then yeah, I'll focus on those other three pairs. CAD JPY as well, but that one is for tomorrow, so you're still waiting for that daily candle closure. So yeah, mainly focus on pound USD, looking for those sells back into those lows, and euro JPY and gold. So we'll see how they get on. Again, guys, if there's any pairs you're looking at, feel free to leave it in the chat, or if you're in any trade as well. We'll see what's happening. But yeah, just focusing on pound USD, hoping to get some nice retracement onto that pair, and then yeah, we'll look to set it back down into these lows. Probably say first target might be this resistance here. Maybe I could even put it at this support here as well, to be honest. But overall targets will be those lows there for pound USD. Yeah, sure thing. We'll take a look at gold. So yeah, gold is a pair that I'm looking at. So my watch list, looking for those sells to the downside. Price is a little bit choppy for gold. Could argue that's consolidation. Price isn't really moving anywhere, but I can see a nice move to the downside warming up for gold. Overall price, it looks like it's getting back below this trend line here. So first, second, third, kind of fourth test there. Popped its head above, popped its head back below. So looking for price to retest that area, respect it, and come back down and retest these lows here. So again, still do have that bearish trend in for gold, still looking bearish in the higher time frames as well. So I'm looking at price getting back down to 17.24 for gold. I'm going to push back down into those lows, see if we can retest that area, then we'll look to sell price back down into these lows here, back down to 17.24. Again, it looks like it's breaking through this support, but it's again not the most convincing break, so I'm waiting for price to retrace back and to retest this trend line, or retest this trend line there that I've just drawn in. So 1, 2, look for the third, and then sells back down into those lows. Basically essentially looking to stay below those trend lines, catching that third lower high, so first, second, third, and then sells back down to gold. So still looking for sells overall. If we do break through these trend lines and start pushing to the upside back into these areas, then I'm not too sure. I think gold will probably head to the upside, back up to highs, probably continue that kind of range we've got going on right now, and then maybe even to the highs up there as well. So I'm bearish on gold as long as we stay below these two kind of trend lines, at least the third one especially. And then we'll be shorting gold back down to those 17.24 areas. So bearish on gold. DXY still looks like it's got some upside left to it. Looking at the DXY, still expecting price to push it into those highs there. So with that in place, I'm looking at price getting to those highs, maybe even higher than that as well. So if gold does, push through that area, if DXY does push through that resistance, it probably will take gold with it to the downside, and probably push it back down to that 17.24 area. So looking for those sells. Thank you for the thumbs up, you too. But I hope that analysis helped there for gold. It is on the watch list. I am looking for that retracement. Looks like it is starting to come in now, closer into that US session. So maybe the next few hours or so, if you can start to put in the next lower high, I will look to get to those sells. Pound USD as well, looking to get into those sells as well. Hey, thanks for the subscription, much appreciate that. Thank you for joining the family, much appreciated. And guys, feel free to subscribe if you want to, drop a like as well, all that good stuff. All of that really does help the channel out. But pound USD, gold, Eurocad, the three pairs I'm mainly focusing on right now. Pound USD looks like it's seeing a little bit of upside to that, which is looking good. So if pound USD can retrace for me, I'll be looking at price pushing back into this area here, and then we'll be looking at some sales back down into those lows there, if we can reject that area, of course. Same with Eurojpy looking for some retracement and take it back down into 128, which is these lows here. Again, it's looking quite bearish right now. We had some Euro news earlier in the day, which made Euro really weak. So as you can see, pretty much collapsed to the downside from 7 a.m. this morning GMT. So waiting for some retracement there and take it into those lows. But it's not looking like it's retracing right now, whereas pound looks like it's starting to retrace, which is looking good. So hopefully, like I said, for gold as well, in the next few hours or so, hopefully we can get something there to get some shorts in. Same with gold as well. And then we'll look to short gold back down to those lows. Again, first target, probably look at a push into this area here as well, because we could come here, reject that area, and then push on as well. So definitely important to lock in some partials, lock in some profit around there. Maybe stops the break even potentially. But overall target would be those lows. Even for a higher time frame point of view, I can still see gold potentially coming back down into these lows here. So I do have that bearish bias in the higher time frame as well. So it's nice to have the bearish and the lower time frame bias agreeing with each other, because that way sometimes you can hang on to your trade a little bit longer, or take most of your profit and then let the rest run to see if you can go hit the higher time frame targets as well. which is always good because it means that you can take less trades, essentially not risk more of your capital, and sometimes the trades that you leave to run can end up bagging some nice profits as well. So yeah, we'll look to see if we can short go back down into these lows here. I'll just make that a bit darker. Go back into these lows here. We'll see what happens after that. We could reject it and start flying off to the upside. Who knows? But yeah, gold shorts looking good and pound looking good as well. Seeing a little bit of upside there with that candle. Hopefully that can continue and then pull back from there. Pound JPY still at that key level of support. Not too sure price wants to break through it or not. I mean, with that close there, looks like price does want to break through, but again, breaking through and then just retesting is two different things. So we'll hope to see pound JPY break through as well. If pound JPY does break through that, I will look to add that to my watch list, and we'll look to short pound JPY to the downside, back down into these lows here, back down to 149,200, maybe even further than that as well. But we will see, because we still have not broken through that yet. We could still actually push up and continue back into these highs here as well. So do you have to take a look at it from both angles? But we will see. Euro GBP still looking quite weak. Again, still obeying that momentum there, pushing to the downside, pushing back into those lows. So we'll see what happens there with Euro Pound. Like I said, if it breaks through this area, I'm looking at price getting to 0.845. 50, which are those lows there. So yeah, I can see gold. I can see Euro Pound pushing to those lows. But again, it's just a bit of a choppy pair recently. As you can see, price on the daily is looking awful. On the weekly, it makes a little bit more sense. Looks like price is just giving us a weight to the upside, grabbing liquidity, and now dive into the downside. But yeah, from a daily view, it's just an awful pair to look at. Currently still in pound AUD, seeing if price can hold on to that resistance. If it does, then we'll look to add some more positions on. But yeah, looking for sells for pound AUD back down to those lows. Hopefully we can see a bit more weakness in the pound. Hopefully maybe when pound USD starts to really take off to the downside, pound AUD can follow, but we will see. But yeah, looking to get into that pound AUD positions as well. Looking for that NZD USD retracement, but not too sure if we will get that. Same with AUD as well. Actually, to be fair, for AUD, we can also wait for that break and retest of that zone as well. So AUD would be looking good if price does that, because like I said, circled earlier, we are still putting in these lower highs in the market, which does give me the impression that price still wants to take that dive to the downside and probably push on new lows. Like I said, maybe 0.71500 next psychological target after that. So either two opportunities I'm looking at for AU, either the retest of this area and then the drop, or the break of this area and then the retest and then the drop. So either which way, looking for sells, not really interested in buys at all really. Maybe if we get back above that area, still, even if we do that, probably wouldn't be interested in buys either. Firmly fixed on the sells and looking for a push into those lows. Just whether we get that retest of that or the break and retest of that, not too sure. Only time will tell. But if we get something like that, I will let you guys know on my Telegram channel. I'll stick it in the chat, so make sure you go, check that out. I've got it, the link to my Telegram if you scroll to the top, or if you check my description. I've also got a link to that in there as well. So feel free to go check that out. Yeah, I'm currently in pound AUD at the moment, looking for sales on this one. I got involved in pound AUD yesterday around 1 o'clock, 1:30. So yeah, I'm in some sales for this one. Again, this one was looking good, but however, it found some support kind of as it crossed in from the daily session back into the Asian there, and then price kind of shot to the upside there. We did see a lot of weakness for AUD. You can see pretty much across the board AUD just dropped to the downside overnight. And that was the Asian session. So yeah, pound AUD, I'm still hanging on to those sales right now. My stops are above that resistance there, which is what I'm looking at the break and retest of. So all this support, break and retest of that area to continue those sales to the downside. So we'll see how pound AUD continues. Currently still retesting that area, so you know, if price does start to push the downside again quite aggressively, I might look at adding some second positions on for pound AUD, you know, because it's, you know, retested there, and you know, the basis of this trade is basically that level holding. So we'll look to add some second positions on if we do push on. Of course, if you break to the upside, I'll probably just go and hit my stop loss anyway, so you know, I'll exit that position after that. But yeah, looking for a push to continue that momentum back down into these lows here for pound AUD, which is 1.85400. If I go on the daily time frame, you can see, you know, it looks like price is giving us this head and shoulders here, or kind of, you know, variant of head and shoulders there. So I'm looking for that momentum to continue back into these lows, and then eventually maybe even further 1.84 as well. I'm not looking to trade to 1.84, but I think potential price could get there if we keep this momentum up. And I think we've got a bit of a trend line here as well on the daily there, which price hasn't really tested yet, to be fair. So yeah, I'm looking at some sells for pound AUD, currently in them right now. Do have a bit of a 4H trend line, which I am looking at though. So we'll see if price can hang on to that. It just about is on the 4H time frame, as you can see there. So we'll see how this one gets on. Like I said, if it does push onto the downside again, I'll look at adding a second position on. But you know, if it obviously breaks through, then I'll probably just, you know, hit my stop loss and exit. But yeah, I mean, in no pound AUD sells. You know, hopefully if pound USD starts to reject this area here, starts to kick off again, hopefully that could drag pound AUD down with it, with some pound weakness. But we will see. We will have to see. So yeah, I'm in pound AUD right now, and that is my only position. I'm looking at gold, pound USD, and Eurocad, getting into some new trades for today. But we'll see if we can get an opportunity, because you know, we might not. It could still push on. Still waiting for that retracement to happen. You guys crack me up. I mean, thank you for the applause. Yeah, I'm just a normal person here. I'm just, I just trade Forex here. I don't mean to be the go or anything. I mean, I'll happily take it, to be fair. Well, I'm not going to say no to it, but yeah, no problem, no problem. I mean, same goes for all of you guys. If you need any analysis, I'll provide you some analysis, but much appreciated, much appreciated. And yeah, why not, guys? Drop a like on the video if you are enjoying the content. I'm thinking about subscribing to the channel if you want to see more. Gonna do stream again tomorrow, and I do analysis on the weekends. And hit the bell as well so you don't miss out on any uploads. But yeah, guys, still got about 10 minutes left. So if there's any analysis or any pairs that you're looking at, feel free to leave in the comment. I'll take a look at for you. Still looking at like pound shorts and those gold shorts as well. If they can come around, gold pulling back a little bit there, so we'll see how that gets on. And yeah, pound and Eurocad looking good as well. Still gonna wait for that daily candle close there on the daily, just because prices, it's kind of closed above, and that's trying to close back below, so not too sure if it's trying to break above or not. Only way to find out is wait for that daily candle closure, so we'll be waiting for that for CAD. But yeah, not too much going in the markets. They're not kind of popped off during the Asian session today, well, overnight actually. You can see all the AUD pairs are having fun overnight, absolutely collapsing to the downside. AUJPY, AUDUSD, big moves. I think AUDUSD could be some nice sales coming for this one actually. Retrace into that, come down again, or the break and retest, come down again. So AU will be looking good, but like I said, I'm firmly fixed on that EURJPY sell, pound sell. Might not take all three. We'll probably just see which one looks best at the time, and then yeah, we'll look for those sells back down into those lows there for those pairs. Usdchf again, I'm not too sure about this pair. We'll just leave it alone. Coming into that area again, I could be wrong. If we do hold into this, we could send price all the way back down again, which was my original bias, but again, I'm not too sure because DXY looks too strong for me. DXY is still pumping to the upside. I expect to see some new highs for DXY soon come. Again, we do have some news announcements coming today, so maybe that could drag DXY to the upside, break it, or it might come later in the week. Either which way, I see DXY still pushing to the upside, so me looking to short Usdchf doesn't make any sense because dollar looks like it's going to be strong, but now I'm shorting dollar, so no sense there. I'd rather look for Usdchf buys, and like I said, breaking above that will make a lot more sense. Then we can swing it to the upside there. We'll make a lot more sense. So yeah, Usdchf buys do look good, just not yet though, and sells maybe, but DXY definitely needs to see some weakness first. Definitely needs to see some weakness first, and then we'll see what happens there. Gold, silver, still looking bearish. Usdchf still trying to pump. And USD still falling. Well, has fallen. Probably getting ready to fall again. Well, NZJPY and Usdchf really did take some big dives here. I think because yeah, Usdchf is still putting in these lower highs here. Still putting these lower highs, so overall the trend is still down. So if you can see some upside, maybe another lower high, shorts looking good, back down into these lows, and then maybe back down into these lows down here as well. If that can keep up, or at least that support maybe, or these 76 and their psychological level. So yeah, shorts for all these NZD and AD pairs are looking good. I was talking about some longs yesterday, but as you can see, they were short-lived. Nice long to the upside, but then the real momentum came down yesterday. Well, Asian session, and now already kicking off here. So looking for some retracement back into that support, and then yeah, we'll look to short it back down and continue that momentum there to the downside. Hey, what are you saying, Will? Welcome to the stream. Love to see that little guest appearance there. Love to see a fellow Colombian on the stream. Welcome, welcome. Just in time for the end though. But yeah, guys, those shorts do look good, and you know, if I do get anything, I'll let you guys know on the Telegram channel. So go, you know, feel free to go check that out if you want to. It's in the description, or if you scroll up to the top of the chat. But yeah, mainly focus on gold, pound USD, and euro JPY. Pound USD looks like it's retracing a little bit now, seeing a little bit of some strength, as you can see, pushing to the upside there, really trying to push up. So yeah, if we can get a retest of that, some shorts there, and then I'll let you guys know, see shorts into that first TP, second TP, third TP. Again, the pips on this one is looking really, really nice, in about 170 pips. So if you can get some new lows, maybe looking at 200. So yeah, that all is looking very good, and hopefully get the retest in about a few hours time, get the confirmation, and then some sales. Maybe could even drop down to the 30 or 15 minute time frame, and get some entries there, tight stop loss, maximize risk reward, all that sort of good stuff. Yeah, if you can get something like that, great. And then yeah, just continue that to the downside, and just follow Euro USD as well, because Euro USD kicked off, as you can see, absolutely kicked off there, broke through there, that support, falling off the earth. So I think, yeah, 1.15, this area here in that psychological level, will be the target for this one. Again, it could go a lot further, you know, looking at the higher time frames. You know, we do have a lot of clean price action here on the left, so it could push into the 1.14 even. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. You know, if price is pushing to 1.14, you've still got around, you know, another 150 pips to go to the downside. So, you know, a lot more downside could be on the cards here for these USD pairs, and a lot more upside for DXY, but only time will tell, because we could find support and start pushing up again, or, you know, DXY could find a double top here and start really, you know, just jetting off to the downside again. So if that happens, you know, my bias will be changing. So I do have to stay on the toes a little bit. But yeah, only time will tell. So pound USD is looking good. So hopefully we can get something here today for pound USD. You know, if not, you know, it probably would be tomorrow. Hopefully not over Asian, because over Asian kind of that happened coming to London. So hopefully we can get something, you know, late New York, you know, and then either early London tomorrow. And then yeah, if I can get some, I'll let you guys know, and then short that right down. The only way I'll change my bias if pound USD breaks through this level here, which is, if I zoom out for you guys, is this support. And if I just take that across, actually, you know, it's kind of this support here as well. So if price does break back above that, then that'll probably change my bias and look for the break and retest and continue price to the upside, back into these levels up here. So that's the only way I'll change my bias for pound USD. So even if we do push to the upside and break through this area, you know, there's a chance that we could just come back, retest this resistance here, maybe a bit of like a head and shoulders going on there, another lower high, and then fall. So, you know, if that happens, I'll still be looking for shorts. It doesn't have to be perfectly, you know, retesting this support here. It could be slightly above it, maybe miss it by a few pips. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing in the markets are perfect, really. So, you know, we'll take that into account. But as long as we can stay below that area there, I will be looking for sells. If we get back above, I'm not too sure. Probably reanalyze the charts. Might change my bias, depends if we're having that break and retest. Because on the daily chart, you know, on the daily chart, we kind of did close back above this area. As you can see, support there. It's a very weak close, but we did kind of close back above this area. So, you know, if the daily candle here is looking bearish, it could still pull back up and actually go and flip bullish as well. So do you have to take that into account. But yeah, if I can get something, I will let you guys know. But yeah, it is coming up to the end of the stream, guys. So like always, we'll do a quick rundown of some of the pairs that are on my watch list. Some of the pairs that are looking good for maybe later on in the week as well. I do stream tomorrow, so make sure you go check that out. You know, feel free to pop in, pop out. And yeah, look to end the stream there. But like I just said, guys, pound USD shorts off the retest of that level, maybe even that resistance up there. As long as we can stay below kind of the 1.36200 mark, you know, sells back down to these lows do look good. Euro USD, this one's really, you know, fallen to the downside. So if anything, the break and retest does look good. But I'm not really a fan of that opportunity, not really focusing on Euro USD. But, you know, DXY still looks like it's got some upside, so Euro USD will probably continue down. So if you can retrace on that one, we'll probably just continue. Gold, looking for sales for this one, looking for some retracement, possibly the next lower high, and then I'll look for sales back down into these levels here, maybe even further as well. 1724 does look good. If gold does actually start breaking above these levels, then I'll probably look to buy gold, at least back into these highs up there. But for me, I'm bearish on gold. DXY looks like it's going up, and as DXY goes down, as DXY goes up, gold comes down. So I'm just looking for that retracement, next lower high, and then the sales for gold. Usdcad, like I said, for this one, probably wait for the break of this level here, 1.26600, and the break of the trend line. Then some buys will be looking good back into those highs, maybe those highs as well. Not too keen on those shorts just because dollar's looking strong, so we'll stay away from shorts for Usdcad for now until the DXY starts to look a little bit more bearish. Pound USD, looking for those sales. Euro JPY, looking for some retracement back into one of these two levels, either that level or that level. Then we'll look to short price back down into 128 there as well. So those are the main pairs I'm looking, and I will let you guys know if I get anything there as well. Yeah, no problem, Spiritual Bandit. Happy to help. And yeah, look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, guys. Yeah, all of you actually. So I hope I do see you guys tomorrow, live again, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. GMT. I hope you all have a great day, happy trading, all of that good stuff. But guys, stay safe. Do have some news coming out, 115 I think it was, for USD. So if you are in any USD pairs, do watch out, because it might cause a bit of volatility. Hope it doesn't spike you out or anything like that. So maybe consider partials or stops to break even if you're in profit or something like that. So yeah, do watch out for that, guys. But I hope I do see you again tomorrow. So I hope you all have a great day, and yeah, stay safe.